shot, Babu. The Facebook game is in the building.
Into the end zone! Five Nations, stand up!
It's Saturday morning, but we ain't got no cartoons playing. We here in the shop. We're here to talk football, sports, and lifestyle. How y'all feel about that? I'm feeling kind of good about that. Not even gonna cap. Let's get the background music going. All right. 615, what's popping? Tighten up. Everybody in the chat, man. Hope everybody having a blessed day, man. God first in the chat. Last night I was going to come back with AFC East, but I had to get up at like 4 o'clock in the morning. So I said, there's no chance that happens. But we bike. You know what I'm saying? I'm a man of my word. We're going to show up and do AFC East. So before I start, we've done AFC South, NFC South. We're going to do AFC East today, NFC East tonight. Just off the top of your head, who you think had the best offseason? Dolphins, Patriots, Bills, Jets. Who y'all think in the AFC East had the best offseason before I get started? Because, you know, I have a different scale and metric. I have to weigh everything and put all the food in the gumbo pot before I tell y'all who makes some good food or not. Q said the Jets. Let me see what the consensus is, because y'all know I'm Mr. Disagreeable. But I also gotta give y'all my logic. You said Jets is the best? Y'all saying Jets. Let's get into mine then, because I don't got the Jets as the number one team. The first team I got with the worst offseason is the Dolphins. And let me tell you why. Dolphins was broke. I've been telling y'all the dam was going to break on the Dolphins. And y'all seen that Spotrac number that had the Dolphins like minus $100 million in cap space of players who are not on their roster that they're paying. Tua Tagovailoa is on the Falcons. Jalen Waddle is on the Broncos. Tyreek Hill is in Never Never Land. They lost Javon Holland. They lost Jalen Ramsey. They lost Christian Wilkins. They lost Raheem Mostert. They lost Jonnu Smith. Like, in the last 2 years, the number of really, really, really high-level players the Dolphins have lost, it has started to take a toll. Got a new coach coming in, dealing with financial discrepancies. You go out, you got Malik Willis, Quinn Ewers, and Cam Miller are your three quarterbacks. I love Malik Willis. Great guy. Great story. LaFleur did more with him than it could ever be done in Nashville. I think he's a solid bridge quarterback. But I also don't think Quinn Ewers is the quarterback of their future, nor is Cam Miller. So they're definitely in a position that's definitely awkward at the QB position. You know, if we're saying who's got the worst quarterback in division, you got to start with the Miami Dolphins when you're talking about the quarterback room. And then they have a really good running back room, and Devin Achane and Ollie Gordon. I really like that they 1-2 punch. I think that's where their team has to start. That's the direction that they have to go in. They have to be a physical football team. The Dolphins tried it for forever being finesse. They can't do it. Now, let's see who they picked up. When we talk about looking at their roster, Malik Washington, Jalen Tolbert, Caleb Douglas. That does not scream great wide receiver core room for Malik Willis to have to throw the football to. When you talk about having Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, and the wide receivers that we're used to being in Miami, right? They drafted a good one in Chris Bell, but Chris Bell won't be available to start off. You wanna I think they'll treat him how we treated Kevin Winston last year, which is slowly bring him along. Maybe middle of season he'll be able to get to 100% and get out there and really trust his body. Tutu Atwell, who's a burner, but I mean this wide receiver core, nothing jumps off the page and scares you, especially in that division with those defenses. All right, Greg Dosick, Will Kakmarak, Seydou Traore, and Ben Sims is your tight end room. Now, I love that they went Kalen Proctor. You got Aaron Brewer, who's a Pro Bowl center, former Tennessee Titan legend. Let's get to their defense, who lost a lot of really good players. Chop Robinson, Josh Uche on the edge with Jordan Phillips and Zach Seiler in the interior. We got Jordan Brooks, Tyrell Dodson. Got some solid linebackers drafted. Jacob Rodriguez. And you got Ronnie Harrison Jr., former Crimson Tide legend. Willie Gay. At cornerback, they drafted Chris Johnson. You got former Tennessee Titan legend, who I said we should have retained for the price point, is Darrell Baker Jr. Another Titan legend, Lonnie Johnson Jr., is your starting free safety. Dante Trader Jr., Storm Duck, and Jason Marshall. Let me just be the first to say that whoever the new coach, I forget his name, of the Miami Dolphins, you got your work cut out, because you're gonna have you're gonna be starting from scratch. There's nothing of note on offense and defense. It's truly gonna be coaching and trying to build a new culture, knowing that this year is pretty much gone. With so much of the cap space being taken by players that are not in Miami. So let's make that one kind of easy and say that the Miami Dolphins are easily the worst offseason in the division, because financially they were in such bad shape. Caden Proctor, I liked. Chris Johnson, y'all know how I felt about him. If you watched his tape, really great technique at corner. Jacob Rodriguez, there's nothing more to be said about what type of linebacker he was. Not elite athletically with speed, but just got a nose for football, a really good football player. But taking two Texas Tech players back to back, wide receiver Caleb Douglas, I just don't know. With what was on the board, I just don't know. Then you go tight end, wide receiver Chris Bell, which was a really good pick. I don't know how you take Caleb Douglas before Chris Bell anyways, but, going a lot of this, Michael Taft, a guy that was on my board that I really like. Kevin Coleman Jr., I think is a sleeper of a pick. They got some guys that could develop into some of the players that could really be a big core part of their 53 going forward, but they got their work cut out for them. DJ Campbell, another guard. I had him and Carmona on my board as late round guards. But far as just like off the board, off the page talent, the most talented person in the entire draft, I think, would be between Caden Proctor and Chris Bell if he gets back healthy. So definitely not looking to be good this year. But let's see if they can build the culture in Miami. Now let me get caught up on the chat before I go to the next team. No, I wouldn't say. I was saying like from least to best. B Walker, what a do, player. I had the Dolphins the worst, but now with the Vrabel stuff, Pat's the worst. We don't know what's going to come out of that. I know it's going to come out of that. If Mike Vrabel was on the Titans and had the Rossini stuff, the whole organization would be shut down. They had to sell the team. It's happening in New England. Now, let me ask you a question. What happened with Kraft and his sexcapade, clapping cheeks in the massage parlors? Absolutely nothing. What happened with Deflategate and throwing the phone in the river? Absolutely nothing. What's going to happen with Mike Vrabel and Diana Rossini? Because he's in New England, absolutely nothing. If he was in Nashville, all hell would break loose. Corey. All right. A lot of y'all said the Jets was y'all favorite team as far as the roster change in this year offseason in the AFC East. I actually got the Jets number 2, and let me tell you why. I'm going to say it real slow. Geno Smith, Brady Cook, Cade Klubnik. Listen, when you're in the division with Josh Allen and Drake May, Malik Willis and Geno Smith ain't exactly going to win you no games. And I think it's going to put Aaron Glenn on a super hot seat that he's going to be in the position that Pierce was in and then Gerard Mayo was in. That you just keeping the seat warm for the guy they really want to come in next year that they're gonna hire to take over for that first overall pick that they're gonna trade for to get Arch Manning. So let's just call a spade a spade. That this is not set up for Aaron Glenn to compete in this division. He's going to hold the seat warm, and they're going to go get the offensive-minded coach to come in after he gets the defense kind of somewhat turned around. That they'll have an offensive-minded coach that'll come in and come in to coach Arch Manning in New York. Because I think that's what's going to happen. And let me tell you why. Did they have a good draft? They didn't have a choice but to have a good draft because they had so many first-round picks, 3 this year and 3 next year. But when we just overall look at where the Jets are at, I just explained to you the quarterback room. Really good bringing Breece Hall back. You got Braylon Allen. So you got a 1-2 punch. You get Garrett Wilson back healthy. You got A.D. Mitchell, who's got all the talent in the world to be good. But who knows just what his motivation is. Omar Cooper Jr., who we all think will be pretty good in the slot. You got some young talent. Something to work with there. But Geno Smith led the league in turnovers last year from the QB position. And with Brady Cook and Cade Klubnik right there, I just don't know if they got the structure for this offense to get going with Geno at the helm. Now, I will say, from the disaster that they had with Justin Fields and Tyrod Taylor to getting Geno Smith where the Raiders are paying the money for it, money moves that make sense, but it doesn't scream anything long-term because the investment in your quarterback is Cade Klubnik, who I think will get to play halfway through this season. I think even if they were playing competitive, I think the front office would shut it down and set it up for them to get the highest overall draft picks. I just honestly do. Now, I love their tight end room. Kenyon Sadiq, Mason Taylor, Jeremy Ruckert. I think they got a really good tight end room. Fashanu, Mimbu, Parham, Titman. Like they got a pretty good offensive line. And then drafting David Bailey opposite of Will McDonald, Tavondre Sweat, Big T Sweat, Harrison Phillips, Darrell Jackson Jr., Mozzie Smith. They're gonna look pretty stout up front. I think Kiko Maui Noah, Demario Davis, the veteran at linebacker, Mike Call Walker. You got D'Angelo Pons. Is Pons gonna play outside or in the slot for them? His comp is his coach, Aaron Glenn, so we'll get to see what happens with that. I like their secondary Pons, Jarvis Brownlee Jr., Brandon Stevens, Mika Fitzpatrick, Andre Sisco, Malachi Moore, Nashawn Wright, a cornerback that I had my eyes on. I like the talent they have on defense, so that's why I kind of figure they'll let Aaron Glenn set the defensive table because that's a lot of talent on defense that they have with a defensive-minded coach. But I think they're going to set the table and stack the deck to tank him into getting the coach they want next year and the quarterback that they want. All right, so let's look at their draft. Jets obviously had a good draft with having so many first-round picks this year and next year. David Bailey, which most people think is the best edge in this draft. 4.5 speed from an edge rusher, can really get after the quarterback. Kenyon Sadiq, the most athletic tight end in this draft. Has a lot of wide receiver capability that you can flex him because you got Mason Taylor, another tight end who I like out of LSU from last year. Omar Cooper Jr., a really solid receiver that can play inside out. D'Angelo Pons, a cornerback. Size may be an issue, but talent is not. I think he's going to be a really good cornerback. Darrell Jackson Jr., a really good defensive tackle. You got Tavondre Sweat down there. You got Mozzie Smith. You got some space eaters to let David Bailey and the boys on the outside scream. And then Cade Klubnik, similar to the Cardinals, take a guy who people were high on last year that had a bad year, that may be in a new system. If he gets to sit for half the season, may come in and show some may show some promise at the QB position. Then go guard Cooper from Miami, and then safety VJ Payne from Kansas State. And like I said, guys got 3 first-round draft picks next year. So I think organizationally, that's why I put the Jets as 2, even though they had a really good draft. It's just the point that I can see them letting Aaron Glenn get the defense together, but that offense with Geno Smith and Cade Klubnik, I just don't think that they're going to win a lot of games. I think they're going to compete in some games, but I think the front office will ultimately shut them down and get them ready for the pick next year to get that QB of the future. Yeah, James Jackson. I don't think they'll allow Aaron Glenn to be successful. Similar to Gerard Mayo and Pierce on the Raiders, it's a situation where the players may love him. He may be, a Jets legend, but I think they'll put him in a position where like they'll be mad if he has a decent season. I think that's the way I look at the Jets and the reason why I put them in the light that I do. All right, now number 3. Buffalo Bills got rid of a long-term coach, McDermott. Joe Brady, the offensive coordinator, is now the head coach. Can the Buffalo Bills get over the hump? Now, let's see the moves that they made, because they definitely made some moves. Your 1-2 punch of Josh Allen, James Cook, you can't get better. They brought in DJ Moore from Chicago. You have Shakir. You got Palmer. Keon Coleman is trying to be born again. You drafted Skylar Bell, right? Still got Dalton Kincaid, Dawson Knox, 2 really good tight ends. And the offensive line, bringing back Connor McGovern. And then they picked up Tennessee Titan legend Lloyd Cushenberry for backup at center. I don't think more needs to be said. I don't think talent is going to be the issue of whether Buffalo gets over the hurdle or not. Is Buffalo just going to Buffalo in the playoffs? When you look at their draft, their offseason, they went and got Bradley Chubb from the fire sale in Miami that we already talked about. One guy that I would have liked to go after, as we were talking, he was on my board, definitely of everybody's like vultures of Miami as they're letting go players. Like, can we get Minkah Fitzpatrick? Can we get this person? Can we get that person? Bradley Chubb was one that was poached from Miami. And then they drafted TJ Parker, one of the edges I was really high on coming out of this draft class from Clemson. You just added 2 weapons at edge. We know they're physical up front. Ed Oliver, Walker, TJ Samuels. We know what Greg Rousseau is. Terrell Bernard, Williams, Benford. They added Ohio State's David Igbinosun, Cole Bishop, Geno Stone, and a sleeper. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson is a winner. And he's a physical football player that brings a veteran presence. Interesting to see. All this looks cool, Buffalo Bills, but when it boils down to it, are the Buffalo Bills going to have a receiver catch the ball and land on his back and the ball pop up into an interception? Is Josh Allen going to pump fake to throw the ball away and fumble the ball? Is James Cook going to have one of the best running back years in the NFL and fumble the ball in the playoffs? They literally fumbled it away every year. So I think Buffalo Bills is in between here. And I seen them add pieces to a team that were right there. The stars aligned for the Buffalo Bills last year. No Chiefs, no Ravens, no Bengals. Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes is out of the way. And here y'all go. It's Bo Nix and Drake May jumped y'all. So Buffalo Bills added to a team that was already there. Let's just see if they can ever make their next step, or if they're always going to be the Buffalo Bills. Kevin Zeitler, stat man. It's an easy answer. She think the Bills might miss the playoffs. If they do, the biggest change in the offseason will be going from McDermott to Joe Brady. So let's see. Daniel, what up? All right, now the team who I think had the best offseason, not because of off the field issues with Mike Vrabel. The Patriots always seem to not get caught by the law. Let's say it. The reason why is we all know it's a foregone conclusion with what the Eagles have done. The A.J. Brown is going to be a New England Patriot, a team that just could not score in the Super Bowl. Let's look at what they're going to potentially add. So I'm going to add A.J. Brown to whatever they have. Obviously, you got Drake May back year 3. Ramondre Stevenson will be back healthy. Travion Henderson. They added Bama's Jam Miller. Romeo Doubs, one of the biggest free agent wide receiver acquisitions. Still got Pop Douglas, Kyle Williams, Keyshawn Boutte, Mac Hollins. But add A.J. Brown to that mix. Hunter Henry. You got Eli Raritan, tight end, one of the better tight ends in the draft. And then they added Lomu, one of the better tackles in the draft, because that's what they got smoked at in the Super Bowl, as well as Crownover. You bring in Milton Williams, Christian Barmore, Durden back, Harold Landry's back. You lose Caleb Von Chason, but you bring in Draymond Jones. He's a 10-sack guy. Robert Salane and Ellis still in the middle. Carlton Davis, Marcus Jones, Christian Gonzalez, Craig Woodson, and then you add in safety Kevin Byard, who led the league, Tennessee Titan legend in Chicago, and led the league in interceptions last year. So, you want to look to see, does a team get worse? You take the Patriots from last year, you give them a couple more players on defense, and you add A.J. Brown as well as Romeo Doubs. I just don't see how the New England Patriots are not the favorite in that division, unless Diana Rossini and Mike Vrabel have some. But it's the New England Patriots. New England Patriots never get in trouble when they do things wrong. If Robert Kraft didn't get in trouble, if Tom Brady didn't get in trouble, Mike Vrabel ain't getting in trouble. They'll make an underhanded deal with the devil, and nothing will happen. Let's look at their draft class. Lomu, one of the best tackles, him and Fanu coming out of Utah. Gabe Jackas, edge out of Illinois. That's going to add 2 Draymond Jones. It's going to add 2 Harold Landry. You got Eli Raritan out of Notre Dame, a really good tight end. Prunty, you got Crownover, another more depth at tackle. You add 2 tackles. They kind of telling you where they recognize their flaw. Linebacker out of TCU, quarterback out of Texas Tech, that's inconsequential. And Jam Miller, Alabama's #1 running back, to go behind Henderson and Ramondre Stevenson, a good all-purpose back. I just don't see how you don't look at that division and say the Patriots and the Bills are going to fight it out. But overall, if A.J. Brown is a New England Patriot, I have to give the nod to the Patriots, saying they added A.J. Brown and Romeo Doubs to that offense. I just don't see how the Patriots wouldn't be the favorite in the AFC East. Who will be the most improved team in this upcoming? I'm doing division by division. Stephen McClare, if you check my YouTube out, we're going back to show. I did the AFC South. I did the NFC South. Now we're on the AFC East. Y'all put y'all notifications on. When I go live tonight, we're going to do the NFC East, and then we're going to go to AFC North, NFC North, AFC West, then NFC West. Then when we're done, we'll say, like, who do we expect? We do our predictions for each division winner and the Super Bowl for next year. The way too early, way too early. Farrar said Dolphins up. I don't know about that, Farrar. All of the players that the Dolphins are paying are not in Miami. They're not in Miami. How do I like what the Chargers did? We'll get to them last. That'll be the last one. So that's probably like around Monday or something that we'll get around. We're going to spread out the content. We're not going to try to pack it in. I feel like it'll be rushed, and I won't have time to really sit and think about where I want to rank them and why I want to rank them. So Daniel, we'll get to the charges in order. So y'all make sure y'all follow my YouTube. Make sure y'all like, comment, share, throw any questions or anything. These are always compressed and thrown up on YouTube. Make sure y'all engaging with the content. We are now partnered on YouTube and monetized. We are affiliated on Twitch. We are still Facebook partner on in the home and the shop on Facebook, and we are and we have the green check on Kick. We're not partnering on Kick, but we're still monetized. So that's every platform. I engage back. If you're on Twitter, if you're on whatever platform, social media platform you're on, I comment back. So y'all got any questions about the AFC East before we close the shop? Yeah, Ali Gay was one of the guys that got dropped when they brought in the rookie class and the undrafted free agents. But I didn't see a way for Ali Gay to make the 53 this year with the amount of people we brought in: Jermaine Johnson, Femi, Jalen Harrell, Jacob Martin, Keldrick Falk. I just don't see a path for Ali Gay. Wish him all the best though. All right, make sure y'all engage with this on YouTube, man. God first in the chat. Y'all know what time it is. Hit that subscribe, like, comment, share. Tap into the daily uploads at 7 a.m. Central Standard Time. If you missed the live streams, you got picture in picture. And if I don't get to any questions during the live streams or the pods, drop them in the comments. I'll make it part of the weekly mailbag. If you're following on the blue, smash those reactions. I know you're OG. Hit that like, comment, share, tap into the daily content that is the shop. If you're new to the shop, you definitely should be tapped in on the green. No ads, up to 50 emotes free for just being a follower. You do not have to be a supporter to unlock picture in picture, late night streams. Follow us on Kick. We also live on Twitch. Look out for the drops, as well as if you have Amazon Prime, it's free $99 to sub to the channel once a month. Don't let Jeff Bezos stick that money back in his pocket. If you don't use it on the shop, use it on another content creator that you like. I still call it Twitter, but follow us on X. We tweet back. Yo, if you missed the daily shop talks, make sure you tap in for the late night cap on the purple and the green. The Discord is always open. Outside of subs, donos, and cash apps, there's also another way to support the content. That's by grabbing a trucker hat, a bandana, hoodies, the classic barbershop, Vibe Nation, right out of the official merch store on Tactic, formerly known as Geeks Unleashed. Code Buddha at checkout to